Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Apologies for being late. I got the time wrong. I thought I was starting at midnight. I'm so sorry. I literally just saw some messages in the what is it called, in the posts space. So forgive me on that. I thought I'd actually set the time to midnight one. Normally I'll do it 11:55. And anyway, so I was out with friends earlier and they were asking me, oh, what time is your show? And I said, oh, yes, it's on at midnight tonight. So look, I need to go now because I need an hour to get home. And I realized I set the time for 11:30 p.m. So I'm sorry about that. Thanks you guys so much for waiting. And then, oh yes, someone's saying here, Nick Minx is saying, Hoagly normally gets things in dreams. The planets come visit. Yes, they do. I do not always like what they show me, though. By the way, yeah, I do not always like what they show me, but you know, it's just, it's sometimes it's a bit much, to be honest. What's this here? So yeah, so sorry guys. So here we are. Friday fry up. I've got your questions in because of course I had to print off the questions. I've not really had much time to look at them. But how are you guys feeling? Let's just touch base first of all. So again, apologies again for getting the time wrong. Oh, on my own show, typical. But let's touch base. How are you guys feeling? How are you just feeling about things going on in the world? I mean, there is a lot going on, not just in America, but lots of other places. But let me know in the comments just how you're feeling about stuff. You know, we're in this Saturn retrograde, which is, like I said, let's see. Actually, technically it starts tomorrow. Today is the 12th of July, 2025. And it's now 7 minutes past midnight. And Saturn officially goes retrograde on the 13th. Yes, so one more day to go, but he is standing still. So sometimes that can make us feel like we are stuck or exhausted or tired or feeling a bit overwhelmed, you know, because he's a heavy duty planet. Once he actually starts picking up speed, going backwards, you know, things should ease a bit, things should lift a bit. But Saturn is a planet of government, yeah, government rules, regulations, big business, infrastructure, all of that stuff. So it means very much that all of these things are under review. Yeah, when a planet goes retrograde, it means review, revise, reassess, recalibrate, redo things. So we're seeing, aren't we, a lot happening in the politics, in particular in the USA, but I think just around the world, a lot of people just reviewing all things to do with government and infrastructure and jobs as well. Saturn is a planet of work. He also deals with, oh gosh, let me not put my arm up, otherwise you'll see a sweat patch there. Literally, I've been like, brrr, making sure that I will get back. Let's see who is in. Let's see who's in. So I think some people are reading some cards here. Someone's saying, my username is not found, is saying, I've got the Hermit. So that must be the Hermit card, or maybe archetype perhaps. Someone here is saying, Barb. That's Annie with a lovely picture there. What's this? Oh, bless you. Oh, why wouldn't that click up? Connie B saying, prayers for at Hogarth Global Astrology. I hope he's okay. Yes, I've just been a bit of a ditz. Sorry, that's my bad. Not getting remembering the show wrong. Yeah. Someone said, Nick Mink says, wondering if the timer as well might have meant 23:55. Bear it through has happened where the time's been out. Yeah. So you see, you guys know, you know me by now. So apologies. And someone here is saying, Teresa saying, I must have the wrong day. No, you have the right day. It was me. My bad. All right, so let's take a little look. You guys are all coming in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling about stuff. Let's go down. Ooh, someone's saying here, Kim is saying, I'll be 60 on July 31st and just had second Saturn return. Congratulations. Good for you. Jody is saying, burned out from F45, waiting for the House of Cards to fall. Oh, God, aren't we all? Isn't it just exhausting and relentless. And I just think, God, he's got that Mars in the first house. Oh man, relentless. Yeah, it's just too much. Oldie Windwalker saying hello all. Catherine is saying hello to everyone in the chat. Jerry's saying keep waiting for some big news to break that will alter things, but continually disappointed. Yeah, it's because it's like this is what these regimes do. They seek to seize power. But the problem is with Trump and stuff is the mechanisms, it's the institutions that in a way that are undermined but also supporting him. If we think of how the media in general, to be honest, I mean, they're all criticized when they're the more kind of left leaning, but there's been a lot of sane washing, hasn't there, of Donald Trump. There's been a lot of unfair or biased media and frankly propaganda. And there's been a lot. There's still too many people that buy into the ideology of Trump. A lot of them are starting to wake up, but it's still not enough. There's many things, but it really is exemplified by this Pluto return that you've been hearing me talk about for ages, because that's what Pluto does. When he changes signs, whatever sign he's in, he's going to show you the grubby underbelly. Yeah, and he's in sidereal Capricorn at the moment in terms of astronomy and Vedic astrology. Like, that's where he is. That's what we're seeing. Yeah, corporations. Yeah, corporate oligarchy, corporate influence. Look at recently with the American military. They've got all of those kind of top CFOs from like Facebook, Palantir, this, that, and the other, from going into senior positions in the army. It's just extraordinary. It's just extraordinary. We really are living in incredible times. Someone's saying here, Epstein files may be the fallout. Yes and no and no and yes, because a lot of this stuff is known about Duck Larange, isn't it? Let's face it. Spirit Reading 77 says, let's show Hoagie the love and give him a thumbs up. Please like the video. Oh, that's very kind of you. Much appreciated. And by the way, of course, if you guys want to just get away from all of this kind of stuff where you've just had enough, then of course, come join me in my retreat in Ibiza in the beautiful Aguamadera. And it's very reasonably priced, actually, and you can pay in installments. Yeah, it's selling. It's good. It's doing well, and I'd love to see more of you there. And I'll be teaching you all about, Neo-Vedic astrology, how planets are people, how to recognize patterns in your life. We're talking about love, finances, career, family, bosses, yeah. And then we'll also be doing the mundane astrology as well, looking at countries, famous charts, be teaching you how to read and interpret charts, for your own, most of you will be wanting to do it for yourself or perhaps friends and family, and be teaching you all of that stuff. And the theme is Greek gods and goddesses, and it's all about elevation. And on the last day, the penultimate day, on the Sunday, we're going to be going to a beautiful vista to look at Esvedra, this incredible kind of mountain that looks like the back of a dragon, in Ibiza. And we'll be doing our closing ceremony there with the sunset and everything. There's yoga, meditation, mindfulness, breath work. The food is fabulous. Forgive me if you hear some noises and stuff. It is the summertime here. I live opposite the park, and my park is like the back end of a festival. So you might hear some exclamations and some loud things, even though it's past midnight. But anyway, so that's there. At the end, I'll just show you guys my website. So of course you can take a look at that. Let's get into some of your questions. Let's see what we have here. Oh man, when I could, do I have the time for the chart on Gaza? I don't, unfortunately. And Netanyahu's chart, where he is right now. US algo on him somehow. Thank you, much love. Like, look, I know a lot of people are wishing for like these wicked people to be suddenly struck down, but that's not quite how the energies work. A lot of this is very karmic. A lot of this is actually about the people that supported these people realizing their mistake. Yeah, the ones that are supporting these powers. What you got to remember is, these people, they have a lot of protection. They have a lot of medical. God, there's a lot of shouting going on right now. They have some of the best medical people in the world. I'm not saying, and this isn't about giving up hope, but I know everyone's like, oh, why can't they just drop dead? Or if we hate them so much, why are they still around? But even hate is a form of energy, which these people can feed off. This is much more about changing hearts and minds, changing your own hearts and minds, elevating, collaborating, coming together. You see, like how we're building, how we have this community here, giving each other mutual support. Normally in the fry up, I don't normally do a deep dive in a fry up, but I have done readings on Netanyahu, and he's obviously not a very nice person. What's this here? Nick Mick says, a person in northern Arizona died after contracting pneumonic plague. What? Once known as the Black Death. Yeah. Could this be a major concern for US, especially as the healthcare system is being dismantled? Oh, my goodness. Oh. Oh, my God. I'm thinking, like, do I even... Thanks, Nick Mix, for your question, but I'm just like... part of me is like, do I even want to read on that? Do you know what I mean? If we've got all this and then you've got bubonic plague in the mix, I mean, I'm just like, oh my God. Let's see. There's a question here on Clarence Thomas. Let's just have a quick read on this. What's this situation? What's the energy around this person contracting what used to be known as the Black Death, which is bubonic? Oh my God. It's just... let me just read the cards and then we'll go to the next question. God. Can you believe the things that us readers are reading on now? The content, the subject matter, can you believe it? I mean, I knew it'd be bad, but when you're seeing it day in and day out, isn't it? My God, it's just too much. Looking here. Nick Minks is also asking about, do the cards show the feelings of the Nobel Prize Committee at the recommendation of Trump's nomination? I thought the window had closed on that. All right, this is a bit tricky. Yeah, this is a bit tricky. Here we get the Empress, yeah, which you normally know I associate this card with Russia. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that Russia are interfering, but this can also be a card that represents America as well, yeah, because it's she deals with fertility, bountiful lands. You see here the rich harvest and all this stuff. It's also known as one of the wealthiest. I associate it as one of the wealthiest cards in the deck. So I think this is just talking about America overall. But this could also be talking about maybe the billionaire class. Yeah, maybe the billionaire class, something like that. Sorry if you can hear some exclamations coming from the park, but it's so hot. I have to have the windows open. I've got the fan going. If you look here, we've got the 9 of Cups, which can talk about getting what it is that you want, satisfaction. Yeah. And the second card is normally an obstacle card, but if the first card is positive and the second one positive, it's normally reinforcing. So I'm thinking that this is talking about, I have a feeling this is to do with the billionaires and the smug merchants. Do you know what I mean? So there's an element of big money here, and oh, that's a bit sinister, isn't it? Oh my God. I'm going to have to close the window. I'm sorry. There's a deranged man in the park. Sorry, guys. He's absolutely deranged. Unfortunately, with the pressures in society at the moment, there's more and more unhinged people around, unfortunately. Now, if we look here in the middle, we have the devil card, which is something you don't really want to see. It is not a card of wellness. Yeah, it can often talk about disease, sickness, stuff like that. Of course, plague would be that, wouldn't it? It would be something like that. However, let's look at the other two cards that are coming out here. Oh my God. There is this demented guy screaming at the top of his voice. Oh my God. It's ridiculous. I might have to call the police. Anyway, so if we look here, sorry guys, there's nothing I can do about it. He is literally screaming at the top of his lungs. Anyway, so if we look here though, we do get the Ace of Cups. And this is normally a positive card. It can talk about emotions overflowing, but this in general is very positive. It can also have healing associations as well. So it looks like, even though we've got the devil here, it looks like there's an element of healing or calming, yeah, something like that. The outcome card here is the King of Swords. And this is actually quite encouraging because this is a card of logic, of being astute, of figuring things out. It deals a lot with mental energy, mental sharpness. So my feeling is, my instinct is that obviously they're going to do their best to contain it, because you just can't have stuff like that. Yeah, you can't have plague, you know, on the loose. So let's hope that they get on top of it. But I feel like they potentially will, with the outcome card being the King of Swords. So let's hope that's a bit more of a positive slant on that one. Let's cross that off there. Let's see. Let's see, maybe I'll read that one afterwards. Clarence Thomas wants to... Oh my gosh. Okay. So Denise has asked, Clarence Thomas wants the Supreme Court to rule against Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, ensuring districts are drawn fairly for minority voters. Thomas argues it goes against the Constitution. These people are dreadful. The Supreme Court will argue Louisiana versus Calais on October, which addresses, and then it goes ... So I'm guessing you're probably asking, what is the outcome of that? Yeah, Clarence, whether or not he'll be able to get the Supreme Court to rule against Section 2. This is dreadful. Do you see? This is what this is all about. This is the institutions aiding and abetting Duck L'Orange. Yeah, let me just drink some of my coconut water. 1 minute. Do you see? Aiding and abetting. Oh my God, I can hear this guy still screaming outside. Demented. Like, okay. But in a way, I think this is reading the zeitgeist. You know, a lot of people are just losing it, aren't they? Unfortunately, there's so much pressure on people. Let's have a look. Clarence Thomas. Let's see what the energy is around him. And then I'll read some more of your comments. Oh. All right, if we look here, we get the Ace of Swords. Yeah, we get the Ace of Swords. This is a card that obviously talks about truth. Yeah, truth, cutting through. Yeah, slicing through. This is very much a card that deals with reality. So I think this is kind of like I mean, the fact that he's even talking about this, in a way, it just reveals the truth that we've all known, but that Clarence Thomas and these kind of more, the ones that are on the right in terms of SCOTUS are just awful. Yeah. But it's clear now for everyone to see. If we look here, though, in the obstacle position, but this is kind of a bit reinforcing, but I think this is talking about Clarence Thomas, but not just Clarence Thomas, it's those that support him. I think this is to do with like the Opus Dei lot, you know, the billionaire class lot. I feel that this is very much Peter Thiel, yeah, and the like. I often get this card, which often for me represents Elon Musk, but this could easily be Peter Thiel. These are the people that are manipulating things, yeah, behind the scenes. The Magician card is very much, it's a very, very powerful card, but the shadow of it does deal with, you know, manipulation, wanting to control things, yeah. I think this is basically what is behind, yeah. If we look here, this is like the sword of truth, yeah. SCOTUS is supposed to represent truth, yeah, upholding the law. But then when we see here, we see, aha, but there are forces of manipulation behind, you know, billionaires, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, that like Project 2025, the Opus Dei lot, yeah, all of the people. And to clarify this, look what's in the middle, yeah. We get the 10 of Pentacles. This can talk about institutional wealth. This is the only card that has got 3 generations of a whole family. You've got the grandfather, you've got the son or daughter or the in-laws, and then you've got the little kids somewhere here, and then you've got the dogs as well. So this talks about legacies, yeah? Those that are in power are trying to create a legacy, yeah, kind of like a dark legacy. However, there seems to be now, this might be talking about one of the female justices. You see here, we've got the Queen of Wands. And as you know, the Queen of Wands has always got a black cat here. That black cat represents the woman's intuition, yeah, her intuition. It represents her inner voice. And of course, the Queen of Wands, Wands is all about passion, but the Queen of Wands is wanting to bring people together in collaboration. So could this be, will Amy Coney Barrett go with it or against it? Will she go against Clarence Thomas? This could be one of the female SCOTUS. They're the most likely, yeah. However, if you look here, you get the 7 of Swords. So again, this is the theft. They're trying to get away with something. This is the trying to disenfranchise, you know, the voters. You know, I would say half of SCOTUS are just completely bonkers. And, you know, Clarence Thomas is absolutely a cult member. And let's not forget, his wife, Jeannie Thomas, used to be in a cult. So I think that's kind of what we're dealing with here. So let's maybe pull a clarify on that to see, because it's looking like he's really going to try and steal this over. It's all about theft of votes. Oh no, but that could be Duck L'Orange. That's probably Duck L'Orange. Let me pull another. All right, so I pulled a clarifier on that 7 of Swords. And then I get the star card. But as you know, when I'm reading on politics, this is also one of my cards for Duck L'Orange, yeah, for Trump. Or it can talk about the shadow interpretation. Can we talk about the narcissist? So with Clarence Thomas is clearly a narcissist, but he's in hoc with Donald Trump. And if we see here, this is the Page of Wands, which is talking about speaking, advocacy, speaking up. So it's almost like, yeah, he's trying to support Trump's agenda, basically. And look, here we got the 2 of Pentacles weighing things up. But this can also talk about finances. And you see the choppy water in the background. Clarence is obviously probably receiving some backhanders, yeah, particularly as we've got the card of theft, yeah, 7 of Swords there. I wish I could be more positive on that. I hope it gets scuppered. If it does, it's probably going to be because of one of the female justices, but it's about theft. It's literally about stealing from people. Let's see here. Kentucky Beach. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. All right, let's scroll down a bit more and see who's in. So we got Tamara from California. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's put here. Ellen Z says MAGA melting a bit. Epstein was their proof that the Dems. Yes, yeah, that the Dems are demons. Yeah, the MAGA, they're starting to fracture a little bit. I mean, how long can you keep sustaining this madness, you know, to be honest? Sorry, a bit more coconut water. I'm very thirsty. I played hours of tennis. That's why you can see I'm a bit glossy and a bit shiny. The Magatonians, they really need to wake up. They really, really need to wake up. I think many of them are, not enough. But I think as well, what's happening in Texas is also kind of joining a few dots for them. You know, they're not the sharpest tools in the box. Let's put it that way. And I don't want to go around insulting people, but really, like, voting for that convicted felon and not thinking that that could potentially backfire on you, which it now is. So what's it? So Karen is saying there is no end. The big bill included a big changes to loans for college, Pell Grants, limited, etc. And I have 2 grandchildren supposed to start this fall, but it's all in limbo. Oh, goodness. Wow. Minxie needs to say, I hope Hoagie uses my nickname live. I've worked hard to come up with the goodies. Yeah, but it changes every week. And Duck L'Orange, you know, everyone knows who Duck L'Orange is when I say that. Thank you. Doxel says, you are an accurate reading, Hoagie, the real deal. Thank you so much. Let's just see here. Adele, Netflix, Crocodile Alcatraz will be his downfall. I certainly hope so. Nick Minx is asking it. Actually, Hoagie, it doesn't include flights, does it? No, with the retreat, of course you have to fly there. And then you get some insurance, but you have to get some insurance. But when you actually book afterwards, We Travel actually do some travel insurance and stuff. So you do have to get there. But once you get there, you know, your meals are included. So, you know, you're getting brunch, beautiful brunches, and it's all part of the package. Brunch, wonderful evening meal, literally all the I think the fruit, definitely the vegetables, maybe even the fruits are from Aguamadera's private garden. The food is delicious. They cook it in this kind of authentic, it's like open fires, but with hot coals and stuff like that as well. But it's not barbecued. It's like it's cooked over these, like charcoal and stuff, and the food is just delicious. So all of that is included. So yes, you'd have to fly yourself there and you get yourself some health insurance, but once you're there, and you're going to be having a fabulous time. And of course, you're going to make, you know, lifelong friends. The group chat where I did my Santa Fe retreat, remember in August 2024, wow, almost a year ago now, they're all still talking. We talk all the time. So you really are going to make some wonderful friends, and it's just going to be a fabulous experience. It really will be. Let's see here. Oh gosh, what's this here? Tamara's given us some news. Sad news from California. Ice Ready 2 farms. Pardon me, there are 200 farm workers are working. Their actions caused a man to fall from a greenhouse. He died. Oh no. Will his death cause the attack on California to stop? No, unfortunately, no, because think about it. In this big bill, Trump has just given what, ICE 170 billion. You know, it's astonishing. This one here, Nick Mix again, but you know, she's asked a lot of questions. So after 40 years of struggle against the Turkish state, the outlawed Kurdish PKK will make a symbolic first step in laying down its arms. Can Turkey be trusted not to now attack them? Will this lead to a peaceful coexistence for both? Good question. Let's see. Giza pyramids. A lot of people asking to look at Egypt's astrological chart, and that's something I have to do for sort of like a special show. Let me just see here. Let's do the first thing. PKK. What's going on with them? Oh, this is interesting. All right, so with the PKK, look, they get the world card. The world card obviously not only talks about the world in general, but it talks about big cycles coming to an end. Yeah, so this is a big part of a big narrative that has been going on for decades. Yeah, between Turkey and the Kurdish. So this, for me, that seems quite positive. Obviously, the world is looking, but it means a big cycle is potentially coming to an end. Here, when we see in the next position, we have the Judgment card. So I think it could be the case that, wow, the leaders are thinking, you know what, there is so much instability in the world. You know, maybe it would be nice to have one less war kind of going on. The power dynamics have changed. And I think it's making the world reflect, particularly in terms of what's going on in the United States. And my instinct is that the world, even though we still got a lot of the craziness going on in Ukraine and Gaza and stuff like that, but I think the world in general is really, you know, I think, look, literally the world is getting a wake-up call. Yeah, quite literally, you can see here, the world is getting up a wake up call. I mean, like, really, like, it's too much instability. Trump is just too crazy. He's too crazy. If we look here, we get the 8 of Pentacles. So this is the card of studentship, working towards something, really working hard towards a goal and trying to manifest it. Yeah, so I think this is genuine. They really do want to, you know, work hard. Perhaps, you know, it seems like they are entering this into good faith. There is a little bit of an issue here where you've got the seven of cups, which can talk about illusions and delusions and, you know, things not being quite right, maybe things not being that realistic. So there might be an element where they might be too optimistic, but this can also be a card that talks about multiple choices, having to make a lot of choices. So the PKK are really probably oscillating between realism and idealism. And then if we look here, we see there is an offer. Yeah, we've got the Knight of Cups. So this can be a card of seduction. Yeah, a card of seduction. It can talk about peace treaties. Of course, this is what the PKK are doing. Sometimes it can be the false knight. So there is an element here. There may be an element of subterfuge or deception, but wanting to see it more on the positive side. It's like, look, you know, they've got a lot of decisions to make, and I think it's time for the olive branch. So I'm hoping that's gonna work out. Yeah, I'm hoping that is gonna work out. Denise Ferguson is asking about the Los Angeles hosting the Summer Olympics. Oh, good question. All right, let's see who else is in the chat. Spirit reading, it says it will be a wonderful event, Hoagie, in an amazing locale. Bravo, thank you. It is gorgeous. When you go there, any trouble that you have, anything that you are thinking of that is bothering you or getting down, just vanishes. Once you are up, and it's not that high up in the hills, but where this Aguamadera is, when you go out, when you've got the hotel and then you have the grounds, when you go out on the grounds, it's this whole vista. You see these rolling hills and the sunsets, and they've got cushions down under the tree, and you know, you could yoga, meditation. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. And even though it's November, you might think, isn't it going to be a bit cold? They actually say in Ibiza, November and December are some of the best months in Ibiza, because you don't get that scorching heat. It's still going to be like in the mid-20s or so. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be pleasant, but you're not going to be getting that scorchio, as we used to say on comedy shows over here in the UK. All right, let's go into Denise Ferguson's question. And she's asking about Los Angeles. So she says, Los Angeles is hosting the Summer Olympics in July 2028. Canada, Mexico, and US are hosting the World Cup June through July 2026. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Wow, for the 250th birthday of the USA. With all the immigration chaos in the US, will both events be hosted elsewhere, or will athletes refuse to attend if held in the US? Okay, good question. Let's have a look. Let's look here. Olympics. Let's see the energy of the Olympics for America. I think it starts out well, and then it might get a bit dicey towards the end. Yeah. So if we look here, and thank you, there's over 460 of you here right now, and thank you for those that stuck around. So sorry about that delay. So I'm surprised there's still quite a lot of you here, but thank you, much appreciated. All right, if we look here, look, we get the victory card. So in many ways, of course, for America, this is a victory. Any nation that hosts the Olympics is normally very glad and happy to do so. You know, you've got the global attention for usually for positive reasons. And of course, this could mean as well that the tally for Americans could actually be really quite good. Yeah, they could, you know, America normally does very well in the Olympics anyway, but imagine when you're the host. Yeah. So it does seem like it does have a positive start. Yeah, with that 6 of Wands. If we look here, we have the Queen of Cups. Now, the Queen of Cups can, Cups in general, of course, we know talks about emotions, but the Queen of Cups in particular talks about creativity. Yeah, part of the divine. This is also part of the divine feminine. However, we can also see, though, she has this little crucible here, this thing here, this chalice, and she's got the lid on the top. And that can refer to secrets. And technically, this is kind of in the obstacle position. So on the surface, it may be looking like a victory, but there might be something subtle going on underneath. Yeah. If we look here, we now have the Queen of Pentacles, which I refer to as the electorate. Yeah. Whenever I'm talking like politics or events, this can talk about, or the domestic populace. Yeah. So the domestic populace is obviously going to get behind it, and it's going to be frankly, it's going to be a pleasant distraction, isn't it? One would imagine. Who knows how things are going to be like by 2026, but one would hope for the domestic, for Americans, it's a positive distraction. However, if we look here, though, we have the 6 of Swords, yeah, which is about wanting to move to smoother waters. So what this is saying to me is that there could be an element maybe where some of the athletes pull out, or dare say, could it be some of them are sent home? Yeah, there could be some kind of scandal where some Olympic athletes are being like not allowed into the country or something like that. Yeah, because you see here, this is the card of moving, having to leave. And then look, if you see the outcome card here, you got the 5 of Wands, which talks about arguments, frustration, things not being coordinated. So what I have a feeling is that there might be issues with the organization, particularly, of course, most of this planning would have been done, but of course this regime, yeah, they're not altruistic. They're not about planning like good events. Yeah, they want alligator Alcatraz and all of this BS. So there might be some element where they're not properly coordinated, or there's infighting or something like that. So I think it may start out well, but then it is looking like it's a bit trickier potentially for both events. So I hope it goes smoothly. That would be something nice to happen, wouldn't it? But with this administration, oh, you know, not so sure, not so sure. Someone's saying here, Jerry's saying, would love to attend, but it's a little far for me. Maybe next time if it's a little closer to home. Well, yes, but I'm not going to be in America for a while. Yeah. Canada, yes. But when I tuned in with the planets and stuff, what they showed me I'm not going to be on American soil for quite a long time, and I have to listen. When they give that guidance, it's absolute and it's always correct. So yes, it's going to be a while since I'm in the US, that's for sure. Oh, thank you. As P is saying, you're a fabulous reader, Hoagie. You are the real deal. Thank you. Let's just see. Kelly Bravo. One beautiful thing from all this BS is that we have all found this community of political tarot and astrology. Absolutely. And of course, like and share, because in the comments, of course, everyone can talk to each other in the live chat and support each other. You know, this is really what this is about. We have to support each other to get through this, give each other encouragement, yeah, in these challenging times. It does help, because then you know that you're not alone, you know that you're not going crazy, you know that there are other people that feel exactly how you do. Oh, let's just see here. Astro Chick says, I question what lessons are being learned from this the second time round. Good thing. Let's pull some cards on it. Yeah, let's just put here, what's being learned second time round. God, now I've got a car absolutely bearing its music. Quite a lot of antisocial stuff going on here of late. Let's have a look. Let's see, Astro Chick. What are the lessons being learned this time round on the merry-go-round? Yeah, clearly the first time with Trump was not enough for some people. My God. Do you remember at the time, do you remember the critique that Hillary Clinton got, yeah, for describing certain people as deplorables? And it did seem really bad at the time, didn't it? And I did think, wow, gosh, that's quite strong language if you're trying to win an election. But she's been vindicated, hasn't she? Her and Kamala, utterly vindicated. I think some even on the right now are saying, Kamala would have been better. Yeah, you think? Yeah, when you have the chance. It's just madness, isn't it? Where some people's consciousness lies, how low the vibration is with some people. It's astonishing. Even the man whose wife was arrested by ICE, they asked him, they said, are you still MAGA after this? And he's like, well, yeah, it must have happened for a reason. Beyond help, irredeemable. He's probably got a mistress on the side. He's probably like, oh, phew, the wife's out the way. Let me just speak for the cameras, satisfy my narcissistic desires. Yeah. Anyway, what's being learnt this second time round? What is being learnt this second time round? What is being learnt this second time round? With Duck L'Orange, huh? What's being learnt? Good question. Oh, Jesus. All right. This is what's being learned. On a certain level, it might be obvious, but for those people that have had the blinkers down, yeah, who have been in all kinds of denial, this is what's being learned. Not by us, because obviously we're already switched on, yeah? This is being learned by those that supported this BS. Look at this. First card is the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, Nine of Pentacles. This is the card, as you can see. This is the wealthy lady, yeah, who has everything that she needs. This is a card that's associated with wealth, success, having everything that you want. However, this card, the shadow of this card, remember we're talking about these people, so we're going to be going more into that shadow energy. They thought they were going to be rich. Yeah, they were just thinking of the money. Well, you know, if I vote for Trump, you know, I'm going to get all of this money. Do you remember Trump said, oh, you're going to be so rich. We're going to be winning so much. You're going to be saying, stop, we're winning too much. I mean, he is a con man after all. Yeah, he's a con man after all. But I think this was also part of the motivation, part of the logic was I'm going to be wealthy. We're all going to be richer. Yeah. Or my set who vote for Trump. Yeah. He's going to look after us. But the shadow of this card as well can also talk about vanity, and it can also talk about corruption. This is also the person that can be bought. Yeah. The card here, this card can be morally ambiguous. Yeah. Morally ambiguous. Oh, over 500 of you now. Now look at the obstacle card. Yeah. Look at the obstacle card. Wealth, luxury, having everything that you want. Yeah, they thought they would be looked after by Duck L'Orange, but look at the reality. It's the poverty card. Yeah, they're realizing they're out in the cold because Duck L'Orange is for the billionaires, for the super wealthy. This is what this friggin', you know, big beautiful bill was for, which we know is hideous. Yeah, it's to help the elites, the people that already have money. He doesn't care about his base. Yeah, this is his base. You know, the people that feel out on the cold. And look, and I'm not justifying everything, but we're talking about marginalized sections of society for decades that have been indoctrinated into this, but they feel they are out in the cold. They're sick. They're not well. Like, for example, with all of these cuts to Medicaid and stuff like that, the red states, everyone uses it, but the people in the red states need it the most. Yeah. So we had poor people vote thinking they were going to be rich, but they were voting against their own interest because Duck L'Orange was thinking of those that are already wealthy. These tax breaks are trillions, isn't it? If we look here, though, look, wake up call. Judgment. Now, even MAGA, not all of them, because obviously some of them are beyond help. Bless them. That's what a cult is for. Yeah, it just means some people are just irredeemable. They're like Ginny Thomas and Thingy Bob. They're the justice. Anyway, but for many people, there is a rude awakening here. You know, if we think of the mass deportations, I mean, I've seen the footage, horrific. People literally just being dragged off the streets. You can hear the howling and the screaming and all of this kind of stuff. It's not easy to watch. It is what they voted for. They just didn't know that it was going to be them. Yeah, that's the difference. This is what the wake-up call is. They're waking up to the cruelty of it, and they're like, wait a minute. I thought you were going to be doing that to other people. I didn't think you were going to be doing it to me and my family. Yeah, so it's like a wake-up call. But what are they waking up to? What is the judgment card making them realize? Yeah, look, the Emperor has come out. Duck L'Orange as Emperor. Duck L'Orange is only interested in his wealth and power, self-enrichment for him, his family, and his own power. They say that he doesn't even know certain things that are in the bill. Maybe it's a foil to cover his you-know-what, but it could also be genuine as well, because he wants to be the supreme leader. Yeah, that's what he wants. He wants to be emperor of America. And then, just in case we weren't sure, voila, Ace of Pentacles. It's all about the money. So the revelation here, really the wake-up call, is happening here in the middle. The people that voted for Trump were the most economically marginalized, yet they voted for Trump for the most, believing his lies that he was going to make them rich, when actually what everything was about his rich friends, The ones that were rich already, they've got the benefit. And this is the wake-up call. And they're starting to realize that Duck Orange is just all about the money. Ace of Pentacles. So that's the lesson that they have to learn on that one. So thanks so much for that question there. Let's go through the chat a bit more and see who is in the chat. Leather said, plague has always been around. That's true. Let's just see here. The Fireside Psychic. We have 5 cases of bubonic plague in the Western United States every single year. Okay, so it's not unique. Here we are. She talks to rocks. Plague happens 4 to 5 times a year in Arizona and New Mexico each year. Okay, so you can see maybe that's, you know, because I was saying with these cards, I wasn't feeling like it was getting out of control. And let's just see here. Chris Cassidy, plague is present in the mouse droppings around the southwest. It is unusual but not unheard of here. Okay. Let's see here. Green-eyed goddess said, all the people in power feed off our sadness, fear, and anger. It charges their batteries. I really do believe that. This is why they're constantly trying to suppress positivity. Yeah. They're constantly changing the algorithms. I know that they're doing something, they're dicking about a bit with my channel, because some people are saying they're not getting the email notifications. I'm always talking about, yes, protest, uprise, make positive decisions, you know, trying to, yes, some of it is heavy, isn't it? But I'm always trying to give it a lift, and they change things. They manipulate it. So far right content gets more views, or they just push other stuff that is not empowering. But, you know, you're here with me and I really appreciate it. So make sure you press the bell notification as well, so you'll get notified when I make videos, when I show up on time, of course. All right. And then here, Beltar, they better never give him the Nobel Prize. He's the last person to ever deserve it. Is this still in the mix, this Nobel Prize stuff? Because you guys will remember, I predicted this. I said they're going to try and give him the Nobel Prize. I remember one person, bless, in the chat was like, what are you talking about, Hoagie? Like, never, ever, ever. And I said, I'm not saying he's necessarily going to win it, but I'm saying he's going to be nominated. People are going to try and nominate him. And it seemed ludicrous at the time. Yeah, because this was at the time of the India-Pakistan conflict. So you remember that was a few months ago. And I read the cards and I was reading the energy and I said, guys, people are going to try and nominate him. Here we are. But I heard the deadline is closed. I mean, can he even still be put forward? I mean, it's ridiculous, of course. It's absolutely absurd. Elaine saying, in Canada, Trump is a joke. Yes. Oh, here we go. LNZ, prairie dogs are the rodents. They're finding them diseased in Arizona. Okay, prairie dogs. The Fireside Psychic said it's okay. The noises don't bother us. Let's scroll down. Let's just see here. Kate Art said, if 47 gets the Nobel, its value will sink to 0, of course. Let's see. Yeah, and people talking about that they're yeah, and Nick Minks is saying, thanks for the info on plague in the US, but with the removal of healthcare, it's whether that removes the treatment if needed. Let's just scroll down a bit more and see what else you're saying. Green-eyed Goddess is that, oh my God, not the Nobel. I wonder how much he was paid for the nomination. What's this called? Kings don't care when they're kings. Neo-feudal leaders are chosen for a purpose by the billionaires. They take the fall while the billionaires, many faceless, smile. Yeah, this is true. Shall we read? Let's read on this, yeah? Because it keeps coming up. Let me know, has Duck Orange been officially put forward or has it been scuppered? Because some people said, no, the timeline has passed. Other people are saying, yes, Netanyahu's putting forward. If you could let me know. Let's just read on the energy of this. Let's just ask the question. Like if someone could tell me, like, here we are. Netanyahu wrote the letter this week, but yet he won't agree to a ceasefire. Oh, God. Florence is saying, thanks for joining me, Florence, joining us. Netanyahu, the war criminal, nominated Trump for a Peace Prize. Someone here, P. Dixie, do you see the bubonic plague takeoff when Kennedy, the warmongering candidate, craps in antibiotics? 45 already threw horrid tariffs on pharmaceuticals. Well, like everyone's saying that it's not that unusual. So maybe it's contained for now. What? No. Let's just see here. Sandra is saying 45's Nobel nomination came from someone in Ukraine, which surprised me. And then Nick Mix is saying, yeah, look, he can be nominated, but it doesn't mean he would win it. Let's pull some cards. That's what they're here for, isn't it? I'm going to ask, what are Trump's prospects of winning the Nobel Prize? As absurd as that is, but I did predict it. So that prediction's already come true. I said he would be nominated. Doesn't mean he will win, but I did say he will be nominated, which seemed absurd, didn't it? But I just read my cards. What are Trump's prospects for the Nobel Prize? If he gets a whole pile of rubbish, then we'll know it probably won't happen. However, if he gets good cards, then maybe it will, as revolting as that is. If he gets like 6 of Wands, which is a victory card, or what else could denote that? The Star, which is his narcissistic interpretation anyway. We'll see. If the cards are in between, then maybe not so much. And if they're bad, then we'll know it's a no. Yeah. Oh, look. Karen says nominations accepted until January 31st each year. But that means that's already long past, no? Or do you mean the following year? Are we talking January 31st, 2026? Is that what you mean? The Nobel Prizes, Adele said Nobel Prizes are announced in October each year, but the nominations close the previous January, meaning Netanyahu's nomination for Trump cannot be considered this year. Wow. All right, let's just see. Let's see what the cards have to say. Netanyahu's turned up already, by the way. You cannot make this up. All right. Now, you remember when I've been reading on Netanyahu, and you know, when cards come up for certain scenarios, I begin to associate the card with that person. The card I associate with Netanyahu is the High Priestess. Now, we know that is a spiritual card, etc. But the shadow of it means what? Manipulation, machination, stuff behind the scenes. And voila, High Priestess, and of course she's holding the Torah. So whenever I'm talking about Netanyahu and this card comes up, it means him. Netanyahu is obviously pulling the strings behind the scenes, and he's wrote the letter. Look at the next card. Look, the Knight of Cups, which is what? Making an offer. This is like a peace treaty for peace. He's literally, Netanyahu has nominated Duck L'Orange, yeah, for peace, which we know is a pile of BS. But look, here in the middle card, we get the Page of Swords. Pages are always talking about messaging in some kind of way, particularly when it comes to the Page of Swords. This is talking about media, social media. Swords deal with the mind, the element of air, the intellect. Yeah. So this is about putting intellectual arguments forward. Yeah. So again, this is just, you know, adding a bit more there. If we look, we got the Page of Pentacles. So yes, there's probably a bit of money. Yeah, that's being put forward here. Not, of course, to Trump, but maybe to people in the committee to even nominate him. Yeah, but there's a bit of cash changing hands. But the outcome card is the Seven of Cups, the card of illusions and delusions. the Nobel Committee would really have to strongly consider if they were ever going to give the Peace Prize, because that, like you said, could invalidate, completely undermine the prize altogether. It would be madness. Yeah, this is the card of confusion, illusion, and delusion. They would be delusional to award it to him. Let's just Paula clarify on that. So is it a no or a yes? Because the announcement will be in October, but they might want to get him in for next year, if you see what I mean. What's the clarification on this? Ah, look, the card of the GOP, institutions. I think the Senate and the House are going to try and campaign for Trump to get the Nobel Peace Prize. It's madness, and I don't want to be telling you this, but remember, I did predict this. I said he would be nominated, and this is to do with the institutions. So could it be that, you know, with Netanyahu twisting arms behind, yeah, trying to, this could also be the prize committee, because that is an institution. Wow. Oh God, I've got to put one more clamp. Will they bend the knee? Will they bend the knee? Oh, maybe they feel torn. The Nobel Prize Committee is not sure what to do. If they refuse Duck Larange, yeah, if they refuse the GOP, if they refuse, then of course that could have ramifications for them, because Trump is highly unstable and a malignant narcissist. But of course, if they go along with it, if they give it to him, then that's going to undermine the credibility of the prize. So you can see here at this stage, they are not sure what to do. And this is the left field. Yeah, this is the letter, in a way, coming from Netanyahu. Yeah, Netanyahu putting forward the suggestion to the committee, but it puts them in a quandary. Oh, man. Well, anyway, look, wow, the time has gone so quickly. Again, apologies again that I got the time wrong on my own show. Thank you for bearing with me, folks. I hope you found the show interesting. Let's just read a few more before I go. Let's see here. Carl is saying a lot can happen if and when the Trump regime falls. It could take a long time to repair the damage that Trump did. Yeah. Gracious to say Donald wants the Nobel Prize more than ever because Obama has one. Yeah, he's been complaining about not having one since 2016. I think he has been nominated already. Yeah, so he's been nominated. Doesn't mean he would win it, but you can see the committee is in a quandary. Wow. And then someone's saying here, Green Eyed is saying people know how to play with certain leaders' ego. Yes, indeed they do. Indeed. Someone's saying, can't see them giving the Peace Prize to a guy putting women and children in cages. Indeed. And all sorts of other stuff. But they are torn. Yeah, they're not sure what to do. Yeah. Let's see here. The page has his sword drawn. It could indicate the failure there in stopping the conflicts. Illusion is correct. Nope. So let's just see here. Oh, let's get here. Denise said, if Supreme Court overturns Section 2 Voting Rights Act, it could keep Republicans in power through 2028 and beyond. And that's the plan. Oh, my God. Oh my God. I've got to try and end the show on something positive. Oh, here we are. Oh, maybe it's not the most positive, but she talks to Rock. Says, in your opinion, Hoagie, which card best depicts madness? I would have to say it's probably the Seven of Cups, yeah, because it can deal with illusions and delusions, being discombobulated. So I would say Seven of Cups is probably one of the best ones to describe that. What else? Seven of Cups. Oh, the moon as well. The moon. Seven of Cups with the moon really would talk about that. Yeah, would really talk about that. Right, folks, I've got to go. thanks so much for being here with me. Please, of course, be sure to like and subscribe and share and hit the bell notification, yeah, so we can beat that algorithm, yeah. And you will see me, oh, I'm going to be too busy because it's time I did a Sunday reflections, but you'll probably see me again on Monday, either doing a financial update on my financial channel or something here. So big love to everyone. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Keep talking here. You know, we've built a beautiful community here. Thank you so much for the support. Again, if you can make it, if you want to escape, if you want to get away, join me, yeah, in Ibiza. It's 7th to the 10th of November. So, you know, you've got time, and it's in installments. It's very reasonable. It's very reasonably priced, and you're getting a lot in the package, and it's Greek and Roman goddess themed. Yeah. So we're really going to be elevating those energies. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I will leave it there for now. Of course, what I would say is un momento, share screen, just for those of you that may not know my website. Here it is here. New website. In my robes. And then, of course, this is the retreat page here. And then you can do learn more. And then this takes you to the retreat page itself. So you can see here everything, all of describing everything. You've got all the different room packages. You know, if you really want to bargain, you know, you can, you know, there's a little sofa bed option, and then you've got all of the different things here, all of the retreat, you know, pictures, etc. So I will leave it there. Let's do the stop share because you guys know about this. And I will leave it there. So 6 minutes over. So big love, everyone. Mwah! Thanks for joining me. It was over 500 of you in the end. Oh, actually, almost 600, actually. So thank you. And I will leave it there. All right. Goodbye for now and see you all soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.